Okay, all right. Well, let's welcome Candy Miles-Crocker here to the summit. Thank you, Candy, for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I'm excited about being here.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like we talked about in the podcast, I love talking to people from the Washington, D.C. area because that's where I'm born. So you and I have
Yeah.
that connection there.
Right, right. It's a busy market here in DC. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Maybe I should have stayed there.
I know, right? We stay busy all the time because with three jurisdictions, it's fun. It's fun keeping up just the laws and regulations and the clients and where they want to be. It's a lot.
Yeah, because you got D.C., Virginia, and Maryland.
Yes, yes. And I'm licensed in all three jurisdictions.
Well, that's great. Well, I'm so happy you're here. So we'll get your 3 tips. And like I said, it's just like we're having a cup of coffee, and you're going to
Okay.
help me to improve my business. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, my first tip, and this is for every agent, whether you're new or a veteran agent, experienced, whatever, is to be intentional. And be intentional about everything that you're doing in your business, what money you're spending in your business, every aspect of it. You want to ask yourself, is this activity helping me reach my goal? Because so many times we get caught up in looking at what everybody else is doing and saying, oh, we should do that, or I should do that. And next thing you know, you're spending thousands of dollars not having any return on your investment, and find you're wasting time and money. So it's just be intentional. And that's kind of the main thing I have to say.
So how do you get to that point? I mean, is it something where you just have to think about it every day, or do you need to write out, go through your schedule? How can somebody be more focused on being intentional?
Okay. Well, I like to keep my goals right in front of me. I'm old school. I'm paper and pencil kind of gal. And some people like their phones or iPads or whatever, but keep your goals in front of you. If you have a volume goal or an income goal, keep that in front of you. And when, you start surfing the net and you start getting lost in all the links and you're traveling through, Google land, then you have to say, is this activity helping me reach my goal? If you're looking down, you say, because every agent I ever met wanted to make $100,000. So is this helping me reach my goal of making $100,000? If no, click out. When you think about marketing, because, we get inundated with, lead generation tools and training programs and all of this kind of noise. And we keep looking at all these different emails saying, will this work? Will this work? Because we're actually looking for a quick fix. And in real estate, there is no quick fix. There is no magic wand that's going to make you successful and make you have business and make you have all these clients. So as you're going through all of these things, it can be very, very quick. Is this going to help me reach my goal? And then you can say yes or no and move on. And don't be a follower. I had an agent I was consulting with early this week. She thought that she should be in magazines. And I was like, if I find you in a magazine, I will kill you, because that's just ego advertising. I said, it doesn't get you any business. It just tells your friends like, oh, she spent $2,000 on an ad, when you can do a lot of email advertising and marketing that doesn't cost you anything. So just think about, what am I getting? What is my end result going to be? What do I want to happen? So for instance, with that magazine ad, what is the end game? Just so people can see that I have a lot of money, I spend a lot of money on an ad, or is that to generate leads? And how many leads are you looking at? Are you looking for? Everything you do should be done with intent. When you're going to a networking event, you're not just going to socialize, you're going with the intent of, what's my goal? I want to come out of here with 5 solid engagements. When I say engagements, I mean at a party or event, you're kind of filtering around and mingling with lots of different people. So it's hard to, I guess, establish a bond or some kind of connection with a lot of people. So set a goal. 3 to 5 people is manageable, that you can get into an in-depth conversation and be intentional about trying to convert them into a client or a resource for you. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, where it becomes part of your mindset after a while, that it's just automatic. So in the beginning, you may have to think, how is this getting me closer? But after a while, it becomes so automatic that you lose the noise. You're very focused and you can get business.
Okay, well, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah. So thank you. And my second tip would be, when you work, really work. I think real estate agents are notorious for saying, I don't have time, I'm busy. And when you ask them what they're doing, they're not doing anything, really. And so we can give the illusion of working by attending seminars and classes and training programs. But the bottom line is, you need to be out in front of people who are going to buy or sell real estate every single day. You need to talk to people who are going to buy or sell real estate, or know people who are going to buy or sell real estate every day. So you can fool yourself into, especially in the DC area, I'm going to get my Maryland license, or I'm going to get my Virginia license. Okay, get one license and work that, because you have plenty of time to get the other licenses, but work. And when you really work, when you're supposed to work, when you have time off, you're not feeling guilty about not working. Because I find that a lot in the agents that I train. They're like, oh, I should be working more. Well, no, because you want that work-life balance. That's very important, because I say anybody who does real estate 24/7 is a very dull and boring person. So you want to have some out. You and I are lucky because we have kids, and that is automatic balance. But you have to find something else outside of real estate to keep yourself interesting. So when you work, really work, and know when the best time is for you to work. I'm a morning person, partially because I do have kids and I have to get them out of the house. But I like to work around 3 o'clock. I go brain dead. So after 3 o'clock, I don't do any real thinking activities. I might show a couple of properties or something like that. But for the most part, I work, 8:30, 9 to 4. And that's it. When I go home, I'm done, because I know I put in a full day's work, and it's not full of fluff. I am, prospecting. I am, working on my listing presentation, my buyer presentation. I am thinking of different ways to reach my ideal client. So I don't feel any guilt when I go home. And another thing that I do, I actually unplug. I turn off my phone, and I don't pick it up after, 7 o'clock in the evening. If clients call, they know that I'm not going to answer it after 7 o'clock. So when I work, I really work. When I'm home, that's my time to be with my family and be with Candy. So the main thing is the bottom line is, don't fool yourself into thinking that you're working. Because if you really work when you say you're going to work, you actually can reduce the number of hours that you're working. Because I think there's like a law, Parkinson's law, that says activities expand to the time you'll give it, something along those lines. So if you have an hour to do a certain task, it will take an hour. But if you have 8 hours to do it, it will take 8 hours. So I'm a firm believer in time blocking. So if I know I have an hour and a half to, make a half a dozen phone calls, guess what? I make a half a dozen phone calls in that time frame. But if I give myself all afternoon,
Right.
I can piddle away a lot of time.
So this is, I think this is one of the biggest issues that we face as individual real estate agents, is how do we manage our day so we're actually working? Mm-hmm. Now, I think, we're our own boss, so you are managing yourself. Is that correct? You don't have somebody saying, hey, Candy, you got to make these calls and you got to do this prospecting. So when you're scheduling, when you're working, and I totally agree with everything you're saying, but I'm trying to dig a little bit deeper to help some of the agents. Do you actually schedule that I'm going to prospect from 8:30 to 10, and then from 10 to 12, I'm going to work on my listing presentation? So are you actually scheduling your day to make sure that you work?
Yes, I do schedule my day. I time block. So every morning I usually get in the office about 8:30. So from 8:30 until 10, I do what I call my admin tasks. And my admin tasks are, filling out case sheets for my sales or my listings, doing listing agreements, reading email, following up on email, checking Facebook, checking LinkedIn, all the things that aren't really people related, I do from 8:30 to 10. then at 10 o'clock, that's my signal to start making phone calls. Either I make phone calls, follow up with clients, or anyone who's left me a message, because my rule is I got to start my day kind of slowly. So I don't want anybody calling me before 10. So I don't call anybody else before 10, unless I'm in the middle of a transaction, of course. So at 10 o'clock, that's my signal. From 10 to 11:30 is when I make all of my phone calls. And then from 11:30 to 12, I kind of see what's come in, what new emails have come in. I do my, some more searches, see on the MLS to see what has come on the market. So then I go to lunch for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, come back, make more phone calls, work on my marketing and any activities like that, and then I leave. So every day is totally scheduled. And of course, when I have, home inspections or settlements or meet an appraiser or something like that, I factor that in. But I usually can, put that in an admin slot or my lunch slot. But I definitely make a schedule for myself.
Yeah, no, that's good. And then I don't know what your tip 3 is. I don't want to steal your thunder, but I think the other distinction here is that you are going into the office every day.
Yes.
And you've worked with a lot of agents. You do training. So do you recommend, especially for newer agents in the first, few years of their career, that they go into the office rather than working from their home?
Most definitely. I like the separation like church and state, because when I go home, that's my signal to stop working. So at home, I think there are just too many distractions, and people become real estate agents, myself included, because we have the flexibility, and that can be a blessing and it can be a curse, because most of us are used to having someone tell you what time to go to work, what time to go to lunch, what time you can leave. And with real estate at home, you wake up, you're in your jammies, you're online, you're looking up properties. There's no real motivation to really kick it in gear and be a professional. So you don't. And that's the kind of like the curse of it. But for me, I come into the office every day. I'm dressed, I'm ready in case someone walks into the office that needs an agent, or if a floor call comes in and they're qualified and I can go show them something. I am always ready to meet a client. I don't care if I'm just going to pop in the office just for a little bit, because when you're not looking your best and you're not feeling your best, and you don't give your best. So I am always ready for action. I had my first year in the business, an experienced agent, she came to me one day, she says, "Candy, you always look like you're ready to go to settlement." I said, "I am always hopeful." So I am always ready, because you never know when opportunity is going to knock, and you have to be prepared. And I have yet to have anybody call me at home looking to buy or sell a house. So you have to be where the activity is, the calls come in, where the people come in. And the other thing I learned about coming into the office is that experienced agents are looking at you as a new agent to say, okay, is this one going to last? So if they see you working, they're going to ask you, can you hold an open house for me? Do you want to shadow me on a home inspection? Do you want to shadow me as I meet this appraiser? And you get a lot of experience that way and a lot of exposure. And it's just a way for you to learn from people around you, because my philosophy is you don't have to learn everything the hard way. I remember when I was a new agent, I listened to one side of a conversation of an agent in my office, and he got off the phone. I was like, what was that about? Because that sounded really interesting. And he was telling me this whole scenario. And I said, okay, note to self. When that happens, here's how you respond. Because otherwise you don't know, because it's going to happen to you. It's just a matter of when. So don't learn the hard way just when it comes up, because that's an agent's biggest fear, right? Is a client or a situation coming up and you don't know how to respond. But if you're in the office, you hear these veteran agents speak, then you'll know when it happens to you. So I highly recommend going to the office every single day.
Yeah, that's helpful, because, it's amazing. That's one of the most frequent questions I get from agents that are starting out in their first year, the whole working from home and working in the office. So thank you for going through that.
Yeah, because they have this wonderful home office that they're just like, they've envisioned themselves sitting there with their laptop and a cup of coffee and yeah, no, get out, do your job. And that helps you on that point is when you really work. When you're at home, it's tempting to, do a load of laundry or run the dishwasher and, oh, let me just dust this off real quick or sweep the floor real fast and, oh, let me just rake these leaves. I'll come back in 15 minutes. And there's just too many distractions. And this is a job.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to be successful if you don't work like it's a job. And the other part is you're not going to get paid anything. So that's a motivating factor in and of itself.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. So my last tip, and you might be surprised by this one, is self-promotion. I find that too many newer agents are afraid to promote themselves as real estate agents. And it's not that they were...
And even experienced agents too. They're also afraid of that. So I think it applies to both.
Yeah, it's like, it's not that they're ashamed of being a real estate agent because, during the slump, people that, oh, you're a real estate agent. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, but what happens is that they start getting into their own heads and they think, oh, if I talk about real estate, they're going to think I'm begging. I'm begging for business. No, you listen to them talk about their job for the past 20 minutes. Why can't you talk about your job? And what I think is so great about what we do is that people think they know what we do, but they really don't. They just kind of see that reality TV, that it's really nothing like that. So when they bring something up like that, you can say, I wish it were that easy. And then you can go into what it's really like. And we have an opportunity to see the coolest houses, the weirdest houses, the smallest houses, all these different kind of things that we can talk about with people that nobody else can do. So why not talk about real estate? And you just never know where that conversation is going to lead you. So I think we need to promote ourselves a little more. And when opportunity knocks, open the door. I mean, I do it everywhere. And people I train, they laugh at me all the time. They're like, Candy, you're just shameless. I'm like, I'm not shameless. I'm just like, why not? I'm a people person. And, in the grocery store line, I'll make a comment, or if I'm around some other people, I'll bring up real estate, and it's not in an obnoxious kind of way, but everything I do is kind of like with a joke or a smile, and people are receptive. So don't be afraid to self-promote.
Okay, well, that's good. Well, that's good. And I know a lot of people, they wear like name tags and they go in public.
I don't do that. No.
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on your style. I mean, you got a fashion sense going on, so.
No, I just like people. And so my husband, he actually said I should work for the CIA because I notice everything. And so if somebody has a T-shirt on that says something, I'll make a comment about that. Some people make it so easy for you to interact with them, but we just don't take advantage of that. And it's a skill that is learned. So when I was really young, I used to be painfully shy and realized that wasn't very fun. So I just made a conscious effort to change. And so I know it can be learned if you just try it. And you'll find that people are receptive and you will get a lot more business from it.
Well, that's good. That's good. Okay, well, those are excellent 3 tips.
Yes, be intentional. Work when you work, really work. And don't be afraid to self-promote.
Okay. I'll put a little summary of that on your speaker page, so that's good. And so like I mentioned, I do have a bonus question, very easy.
Okay, sure, Mario.
So here it is, the summit. It's the middle of January 2016, beginning of the new year. I want you to look back 2015 and look back at maybe an accomplishment, a goal that you reached, something that you were really proud of. You kind of shook your fist and said, hey, I did it. Could be personal, could be business, but give me something that you're really proud of that you did last year.
Oh my! I had so much on my plate in 2015. It is just phenomenal. There are actually 2 things. The first is my daughter was a debutante last year. And so that occupied a lot of space in my brain, and getting all the events was like, 9 to 10 months of work. And I was just so proud of her and how she learned a lot from me, as I didn't realize, because she was very organized. and she was very polished in her performance and her presentations, and she worked really hard at her fundraising. And so at the end of the event and the big ball and all of that, she not only was she won Miss Congeniality, which was fantastic, but she won the entire event, which I was very, very proud of her for, that she could mix because it was about who raised the most money. So it's like she mixed her personality with the money making. I'm like, that's a winning combination, girly. So I was really proud of her accomplishments. And second, I was proud that through real estate, I was able to, my husband and I take our family on a 2-week vacation to Italy and Switzerland. And we all enjoyed that. And, all of your hard work pays off when you have a goal. And our goal was to, spend this time as a family and just do it up 100%. And so from, January through June, you just hustle, hustle, hustle. And that's the beauty of real estate. When you hustle and you're intentional, you can reach those financial goals and you can live the life that you want to live.
Well, that's great. Those are 2 awesome achievements. And, I think it's great that you talk about your family and you talk about your business, and you've got a balance between the 2, which is awesome.
Oh yeah. Because I don't live to work. I work to live. And so my family is very important. And as a matter of fact, all of my clients, or the majority of them, know my kids. They know my husband, because I always tell them at some point you're going to meet my family, because that's just how I am. It's just, they're a part of me. And so my clients become a part of me. And so it's like, welcome to the family. So it's a nice mix. It works for me.
Well, that's good. Well, thank you for going through that and sharing your story. And thanks for going through these 3 tips and being part of the summit. I know how busy you are. So I really appreciate you doing this. So thank you, Candy.
Thank you for having me, Mario. It's been great.